bit. So you are interning at PVR Inox, which is really, really interesting. So can you give us a glimpse about this role and like what exactly is it about? I believe that in this time where there is a very short time and you're juggling classes, you're juggling coursework, and a lot of things are happening. So burnout is pretty common and it happens naturally. So how do you
Right.
manage all this? Like, how do you manage burnouts? In the world of dreams, where passion meets the grind, success is not just about the luck, but the strength of the mind. Through hard work, persistence, and a vision so clear, the journey to the top is what we hold dear. Hi, viewers. Welcome back to another podcast from Skill Sapiens. Whether you're an MBA aspirant or a working professional considering a career switch, this episode is for you. Today, we have got someone truly inspired, Kirti Gupta, who has not only made her mark at one of the top B schools across country, but also comes with a stellar academic background from the Lady Sri Ram College for Women. Her journey is a perfect blend of merit and hard work, from acing her undergrad to excelling in brand management roles at top tier companies. In this episode, we'll dive into her MBA experience, her internship stories, how her undergrad shaped her journey, and get valuable insights for someone looking into to break into the corporate world of marketing and brand management. So let's jump in and get inspired. Hi, Kirti. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello. Hi, Arpan. Thank you so much for having me. And
Thank you so much for lending your
in
time. I know it's a very difficult schedule from PVR, but thank you so much for lending in time. And I hopefully the viewers would get a lot of insights about the brand management and a lot of insider stories from MV, I suppose.
Definitely. Again, thank you so much for having me. Let's start by
Sure,
knowing
sure,
like
sure.
what.
So let's
So,
start by talking about your journey in general. So, like, let's start from the beginning. So, what made you decide to choose an MBA in the first place, and why did you choose the college?
all right. So this is a question in like as every interviewer has asked me. So for me, an MBA is always about like bridging that curiosity with an impact. So I've always been fascinated by how businesses make strategic decisions and they how they influence the consumer behavior, knowing those market insights. So from my undergrad, I've always been into the case competitions, and after a lot of introspection and research work, so IMI New Delhi stood out not just because of its rigorous academic structure, but also due to its focus on real world exposure, the strong commitment. So it felt like the ideal environment for me where I can push myself, sharpen my business acumen, and build a strong foundation like for a career in marketing and strategy and into other domains in which I want to explore.
Thank you so much, Kirti, for this answer. And you come from Lady Shri Ram College for Women, like one of the best colleges across the country. It's known for its vibrant life, and it is the dream for a lot of students who are there in their 12th and 11th. And like, so how did your time there influence your decision? Like, how did it shape your career trajectory? So if you could highlight something about it.
Yeah, definitely. I would love to. So, firstly, thank you for this much appreciation. So, by God's grace, I have been into Lady Shri Ram College, the country's topmost college, and the dream college, of course, of mine. So, LSR played a huge role in shaping my journey. The academic intensity combined with the culture of leadership and collaboration, it actually pushed me to explore those opportunities beyond the classroom. I would say I led multiple student initiatives and I interacted with a diverse set of minds. And it helped me to understand the basic psychology of the other person to develop those critical thinking and people skills, which I believe it is very important when you enter into a working environment, into the corporate world. So that exposure made me realize that I want to lead at the intersection of like not only just academic, but creativity, business, and make an impact. So it actually naturally led me to move towards an MBA.
Thank you for this answer. So, Kirti, a lot of MBA students have this notion that whether your undergraduate college influences your MBA selection process, the MBA admission process at the top tier institutes. So, does it actually matter? And how should the person who is not from a good MBA undergraduate college should actually pave its way so that it's not as difficult for the students? So, if you could highlight something about this.
Surely. So yeah, it is true that of course our undergraduate college plays an important role, because see, it actually creates a base for you where you can have a first-hand exposure how things work. So let us take an example. When we were in school, we were only focused towards our studies, marks, and not much extracurricular activities. But when we enter into the college era, or let's say suppose the outside world, like suppose we have spent 12 years in the school, and then we are switching on to a place where we don't know anyone. So firstly, I would say that networking plays an important part from our undergraduate itself, and the skills that we learn, like focusing on competitions, not only upon the academic part, those strategic initiatives outside of the comfort zone. You can say that I approach things more like an owner, not just a participant, which I used to do during my school time. So yeah, it does plays an important role. The skills that you learn, the research part, the research techniques, or various other activities that you learn. So coming upon to the second part, so it actually plays an important role. But on the other hand, if let's say there is no undergrad background, let's take an example, right? So I would say that the learnings that are gained through, I mean, various projects or internships or practical exposure, those real world simulations. So it is not just about the theory, it is like solving real problems. So like staying updated with the industry shifts. So yeah, it actually plays an important role during an MBA journey. I hope it has answered
Yes,
the
yes,
question.
definitely, definitely. So you mentioned about internship. So switching gears a bit. So you are interning at PVR Inox, which is really, really interesting. So can you give us a glimpse about this role and like what exactly is it about?
Absolutely. So at PVR Inox, I'm currently interning in a brand strategy role where I'm working on positioning PVR Inox as a B2B advertising platform. So this is the mainly the one part. So it's very like a oceaning thing under which there are a lot of projects, lot of work, lot of plans. So I'm designing right currently the strategic outreach plans and building an annual B2B marketing calendar, which is just the like a 1% part of my work. So, and crafting a marketing brochures for the upcoming blockbuster releases. So, the experience has been very hands on and intellectually stimulating as well. So, I've had to think like a strategist, not just a marketer, like a master chef, not just the participants. So, it is helping me to grow immensely in terms of ideation, planning, stakeholder communications, and also I'm learning a lot of new things in terms of tools, in terms of like it's a part of my learning curve, I would say.
So brand management seems to be a dream for a lot of people who are coming into marketing. And as you say that brand management is a perfect blend of marketing and strategy. So hopefully for somebody who is coming into brand management and who is looking for marketing as a major, this is specifically for students who are incoming MBA students or even who are MBA
Right.
aspirants. So what kind of skill set should they maintain from the first place to get into such roles?
All right. So if I talk about me, then I approach brand management preparation with a 360-degree lens. And that's true because firstly, I built strong fundamentals in marketing strategy, analytics, the consumer behavior. Then I applied those learnings through internships, which I did in my undergrad, the live projects. So my advice would be like, don't just read theory, solve real problems. Like I've been always been fascinated by the case competitions. I have won many, the corporate competitions. So pick a brand, think about how you add to it. Think about like it is my brand, it is my company. So also stay updated with those industry shifts, because brand management today is as much as about agility, and it is about like storytelling. We cannot say that brand management is about like, okay, you are, if you are getting involved into brand management role, you are going at the top level. No, the work is definitely going to be basic in the first go. You'll think about it, what am I doing? I'm making PPTs, I'm making, okay, I'm correcting the font. This is what am I doing in brand management. But trust me, this is, there is a lot of learning in this role. You'll feel that, okay, this is something on my plate, I'm doing something meaningful for the company, for the brand.
Right, Kirti. And what kind of skill set should anybody imbibe if they're looking for brand management? Because in case of brand management, even the font color makes a lot of sense. Even the size makes a lot of sense. Like everything depends on that. So, like, what kind of skill set should anybody have if they want to get into brand management, or if he or she is a necessary fit for a brand management role?
Okay, so I would say one thing is adaptability, because as you mentioned that, of course, a font color definitely, only a font color definitely makes an important role. So adaptability is one of the main aspect. Data fluency, strategic thinking, again I'm saying, and the emotional intelligence. You need to pivot with market trends, like while keeping a pulse on consumer sentiments. So I'm also investing into leadership and though these skills that I mentioned, because leading a brand is ultimately about inspiring people both internally and externally. For example, if you're not internally satisfied at, okay, am I pitching my deck to a brand? Then you can't do it exactly. Because if any of a question comes up, even the basic question might come up like, okay, in slide one, you have taken this one, and slide two, this is different. Why? And if there is, like, if you have nothing to answer, then it would go in all in, like, how will you control this damage? So these are some skills that I mentioned. And of course, networking is very important. Without it, you cannot think that in silos or in isolation I can prepare something meaningful. No, it doesn't happen. So yeah, these are some I would say skills that are critical for success in brand management and business development.
Thank you so much for such an elaborative answer. I believe the viewers would take a note of all these skills and would work on that. So there are a lot of myths surrounding marketing, sales, and brand management. So when it comes to brand management specifically, if you would like to demystify some of the common myths that are there.
Definitely, even I was, when I was entering into this role, I had some myths which were broken down then and there. So, one major myth is that it's all about creating ads, it's all about managing the brand. But no, the truth is, brand management is deeply analytical and strategic. It's all about owning the brand's performance across markets, channels, and even I would say P&Ls. So you're responsible for translating consumer insights into scalable, profitable strategies. So yeah, this is one of the common myths about brand management.
And there are certain people who believe that brand management is a top tier kind of role, and you generally don't get it post your MBA. So, is there something like that? If you would like to demystify this also.
All right. So I would like to take it up is that it is a totally subjective kind of thing. Because see, for a person, uh, one role could be like his or her dream role, and for another person, he or she might think, okay, this role is not aligning with me, so I want to take up a different role. So I would say this is totally very subjective, depending upon the interest and based on the alignment what one wants. If you can, I mean, if specifically you're asking, then I would like to answer, but in general it is very subjective.
Got it. So moving on to your MBA at IMI New Delhi, you have topped CAT exam, DUET exam, and like you are a part of IMI's this rigorous academic environment. We know that you're a part of a lot of case competitions, extracurriculars, and also maintaining your academic like in a way that you can excel on it. So how did you balance this like demanding coursework with everything else?
Uh, okay, so it was actually very demanding for all of us. I mean, you will also agree because we are into the same set. So, hands down, my ability to extract the insights from qualitative and quantitative data, taking help from the teachers, from my family, from my friends. So, it was actually an evolving aspect. Like my network kept me informed and inspired. I approached networking with authenticity, whether it was through B school events, the case competitions, or podcasts like these. So I make it a point to learn from people's journey uh rather than just listening to it. Uh, so I would say that I was mainly at the major stake of owner, like but not a participant, like as owner, as a participant. So yeah, when I participated into case competitions, I got to learn a lot of things. It's not like that I when I uh participated into first competition I was winning there. No, it was actually a failure, and from that failure I learned where I lagged, what were those things on which I can improve. Then I applied it into the second competition, then again it was not a win. Then slowly I learned where I was lacking. So yeah, that's how it helped me in managing my time and get growing. I'm still growing, I would say.
Thank you so much for such an honest answer. So, like, I believe that in this time where there is a very short time and you're juggling classes, you're juggling coursework, and a lot of things are happening. So, burnout is pretty common and it happens naturally. So, how do you
Right.
manage all this? Like, how do you manage burnouts?
Okay, so burnout is a constant thing that actually goes in hand. When you are traveling, when you are studying, when you are doing any work, it's a like constant thing. But I would say that balancing. I would say keeping your mind calm and keeping that one reason in mind why you are doing this. It is very important to me because whenever I start my day, I think that okay, I am very much glad. Because there are many people who have not got this opportunity. There are people who have got opportunity better than us. So definitely, since I am very spiritual, so I would say that be gratified, which helps me stay grounded. Even during my peak academic or internship pressure, I make space for reflection through reading, journaling, or spending time with my loved ones. So I believe that creative minds also need rest to regenerate good ideas. So this is the baseline on which I handle myself from burning out and getting exhausted.
Right, like you have mentioned about spirituality, which I think nobody has yet mentioned about any of the podcasts. So I believe that this is something that viewers would understand that how important is spirituality when it comes to handling pressure, and you should have something to fall back on when you are having so much pressure, whether like spending time with loved ones. I believe this will you will agree with me as well. So like spending time with your loved ones, with anything that you understand and like just love, have your fun with. So like when it comes to burnouts, when it comes to case competitions, like how do you think that like pressure is necessary, or do you think that is there like the B schools these days are having unnecessary pressure? So this is particularly for incoming MBA students. So how should they make their mind? Like what kind of mindset should they carry with them when they enter a B school?
Okay. So yeah, it is actually my favorite question as well because I was when I was entering into the B school, I was about to enter, I was preparing for the exams. This was the constant thing that was going in my mind. So I do believe that if you are aiming for something higher, then of course there would be a greater responsibility coming with it. I would say if it would have been easier, everyone would have done it, right? So be a lifelong learner, I would say. Don't be afraid to ask questions, take risk. Because as you mentioned, pressure. I would say if there won't be any pressure, I don't think is there is any other motivation to move forward. I mean, let us take an example. If there wouldn't have been a pressure to get a good job, why would have been we doing MBAs? I mean, if there wouldn't be having pressure to excel in exam, why would be having like studying all the day, right? So pressure is something which motivates us to move. I know this is very easy to say. It is like a very theory and bookish language. In practical, this is not something that can be applied easily. But somewhere, pressure creates an environment where you can learn and grow. Without pressure, it's like an easy going. Ki, okay, I can do this, I can do that. But if pressure comes, it actually gives you the real picture of the scenario. So, of course, I would have been at their place as well. And pressure is a lot of, on every one of us, pressure is there. So, but I would say it will come with rewards like clarity, consistency, and curiosity. And never underestimate the power of the pressure and the soft skills that it brings. They truly set you apart in high stakes environment.
Thank you so much for this answer. So, switching gears a bit, coming back to your favorite part of the MBA, the marketing part. So, I believe the marketing has changed a lot in recent times. Now, we are in an era where digital marketing plays an important role, and understanding consumer behavior via digital marketing is like of supreme importance to marketeers. So, specifically when it talks about brand management, how important is a digital first mindset? If you could relate this to AI, or if you could relate it to the marketing trends that are emerging these days.
All right. So yeah, of course, AI is now everywhere. I would say like ChatGPT, Perplexity, DeepSeek, like these kinds of are everywhere. And not only like using only these uh AI tools, there are various AI tools for image generation as well. So yeah, they actually play an important role. And there is no shame in telling that I use GPT. If you're telling someone I use GPT to gather the information, then there is no shame. Of course, if it is saving your time, if it is making you productivity, hands down, for data, for gathering data, to for data interpretation, extracting insights, for both, as I mentioned, for both qualitative and quantitative data, it actually helps to create that actionable strategies that resonates with the real consumers. So I've also owned this AI techniques in presenting data in a compelling way. It is just that as important as analyzing it. So of course, it plays a major role, a significant part in the marketing goals.
So, for a first year MBA student who has just entered into a MBA college, and or somebody who is just entering the MBA college, he got an admission into it. So, what kind of softwares should anybody learn when it comes to marketing in specific?
All right. So, see, when I first entered, I had no idea what kind of uh softwares I'll be needing or I'll be taught. But when we entered, then we saw that teachers were making us learn the Excel, Power BI, SQL, right? So these are some important tools. Of course, it totally depends upon your work, what it demands. If it demands SQL, then of course I would say that learn Excel skills. There are various platforms where you can learn it. So it is actually a non-negotiable thing, I would say, because everything is available, right? And digital platform is where the consumer lives today. So I would say that from social listening to campaign planning to performance tracking, there are various tools like YouTube tracker, the Google tracker, where you can track where your performance is. So everything requires a digital lens. So, like, if you want to leverage, if I talk about specifically for a project like leveraging a business as a marketing tool, this is a prime example of how even traditional brands are evolving digitally. So yeah, there are various tools, and it actually depends upon the demand of the project or the demand of the work on which you are working.
Thank you for so much for this answer. So a common thing that is there in MBA students is that a lot of students want to take marketing and are interested in marketing and branding and product research kind of roles, but they believe that marketing is a very high pressure job and there are a lot of targets to meet, and your job would depend upon whether like consumer like your product, the kind of conversion you bring in. So like, what do you want to say to them? Like, is there anything something like that? Because a lot of people feel that, okay, I am switching from marketing just because of this reason, I want peace in life. So like, what is this thing? Do you want to comment on this?
Yeah, sure. So there is a understanding among students, even I also had this, and it is not wrong. See, marketing is a very vast topic under which there are various aspects covered, like sales, brand management, product management, market visits. So start by understanding what is it, like consumer psychology, storytelling. So I would suggest take up internships, side projects, or even case competitions as well. The as much as you will stay curious and build a personal brand, always ask yourself, how is this adding value to the consumer? This is the basic key.
Thank you so much. And lastly, for the last question, any advice that you would like to give to all the students, to all the aspirants in general who are aiming for marketing and like bigger roles and bigger giants like PVR Inox?
All right, I would love to. So even I am at this stage, I am even learning, and I do believe that now the upcoming students are even more smart, or they are even more, you know, so they don't need any advice. But yeah, be a lifelong learner. Don't be afraid to ask questions. If you even fail occasionally, don't feel disheartened. I do. So it's easy to say, but yeah, again, the corporate world rewards clarity, consistency, and curiosity, but it comes up with a lot of stuff, pressure. You will be at a point you'll think that I'm confused, what I have to do. I have nothing to like. It'll like you'll say, ki, okay, I want to end this up, but no, uh, at the same time you'll be rewarded, you'll be praised for your work, you'll think that I know these, I have these skills, I'll put it up. But in practical, I would say if it is not in alignment with what the other person wants, then you'll get disappointed. But never underestimate the power of your skills. So as again, I would say they truly set you apart into a high stakes environment. So consider this as that this is our growing, this is the part of our learning curve. We are here to learn, so of course, learning never stops, I would say. So yeah, this is the advice I would give for the students who are entering. Most important thing I would say that case competitions plays an important role. From my siblings, I have learned this. I would say that of course the see, MBA is equal to case competitions. I would say this. The knowledge you are learning, the things you are learning into an MBA, where would you apply that? You can't, of course, go to a layman and say, okay, listen, I want to sell you this product. I have this pitch. He or she won't listen to you. So, case competitions are the mediums where you can actually apply those skills. You can learn there. Am I doing this right? There are various frameworks. You cannot go to a common man and say, I have this framework, listen. Or you can say ki, that see, this is the framework I want to use into my daily life. But case competitions provides you the open platform to apply all your MBA skills at a place. So MBA is equal to case competitions.
Thank you so much for giving this formula, because I believe a lot of viewers would understand this. And if they have not done case competitions as of now, they'll be able to understand that how important they are. Because definitely it is true. Like, I cannot go to a layman and will ask them, and okay, this is my business model canvas. He won't understand this. Yes, so definitely, I think all the viewers should make this a note that case competitions are very, very important, and you must give them a try when they are you are in an MBA. And I believe you can do MBA this case competitions even after an MBA, or there are certain case competitions that are open everywhere, so you can always do them. Thank you so much, Kirti, for sharing your insights today. Like, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. And to all our viewers, we hope that today's episode helped you embark on your MBA journey in brand management. Be sure to subscribe more for more episodes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kirti, for having, like, for being here, for lending your time. And to all the viewers who have watched this podcast, we believe that this podcast would be helpful to you. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome, and thank you for having me on board as well.